West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West Coast.
Let's kick it off, baby. West Coast Mindset, episode 16. And man, am I excited. Football is back. Yes, sir, it's back. We have an opening game on Thursday. We got a game on Friday. And, of course, we got the rest of the league on Sunday to wrap it all up for an amazing, great week of opening football. And on today's episode, I'm going to give my predictions for the season, division by division, who's making the playoffs, my NFL MVP, and, of course, my Super Bowl prediction when it's time to get to February. So let's get to it right now. It's time, baby. Let's do it. Starting off with the AFC East, and we got some good teams here. We got the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. And for me, this is my order. In first, I got the Bills winning the division. I got the Patriots in second, and I got the Dolphins in third, and the New York Jets in fourth place to round up the bottom feeder of that division. And, of course, the Bills are going to be a great team. Josh Allen's the reigning MVP. I love their overall team. James Cook is a good running back. The receivers are pretty solid. The defense, it's good. I won't say it's great, but it's good. But this team is destined to try to win the Super Bowl this time because their nemesis in the past has always been the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they want a chance to beat the Chiefs, it's got to be this year because the Chiefs are not as powerful offensively as they have been the last couple of years. And the Bills are hungry, and they're waiting to kick down the door and get past them and get to the Super Bowl. So I think this is a year of destiny for the Bills, and they'll take care of business in the AFC East and win the division. The New England Patriots, they're my wildcard team. I'm giving them one of the three wildcards. I think they're going to be very good this year. I love the hire of Mike Vrabel as head coach. He's going to do a great job of fixing the culture, and there's already great vibes there already that he's already done that, and he's completely changed the entire culture of them being a bottom feeder for the last couple of years after of course Tom Brady left and Bill Belichick retired. And I think he's going to get that team off to a great start. And I love Drake May, the young quarterback. He's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. They're really good on defense, and they just have a solid foundation of what they built there. So I really like the Patriots, and I got them as one of my wildcard teams. The Miami Dolphins, this is going to be a year of disappointment for them. I think they're gonna have a tough year. They'll finish third, but there's issues always with Tua's health. The defense in the secondary is beat up, and there's issues with the offensive line, and yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty with the Dolphins, and of course their coach McDaniel he's looking like he's on the hot seat. A lot of Dolphins fans want him gone. So it's not gonna be a good year for the Dolphins. New York Jets, it's gonna be tough. I've seen so much footage of Justin Fields already in camp with them and preseason, and he just can't throw the football. It's that simple. Their defense is gonna be a lot better with Aaron Glenn taking over as the DC and the head coach, of course. But I'm just not confident in the Jets. That's when they're gonna score enough points. This might be one of the worst offenses in the league. Justin Fields is just not it. And I don't know if he can get the ball consistently onto Garrett Wilson. And, yeah, I just don't think the Jets are going to be that good. So I have them finishing last. And, yeah, give me the Bills and the Patriots to make the playoffs out of this division. AFC North, we got the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns in that division. And I got them in that exact order. I got the Ravens winning this division. I got the Bengals in second. Got the Steelers in third. And the Cleveland Browns, of course, they're the Browns. They'll be in fourth place. So yeah, I got that. The Ravens are gonna be great this year. Lamar Jackson, this is his year to prove if he's really that guy and he can win you a Super Bowl. He was snubbed last year to win the MVP, I think, because Josh Allen, he got the MVP and he had a great year. But Lamar Jackson put up by far his best numbers of his career. He was fantastic, and he's gonna be motivated, and he wants to get past the Chiefs himself and get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. And I just love the way their team is built. They're very good at running back with Derrick Henry. Offensive line is really good. The receiving corps is a lot better with Zay Flowers and they added DeAndre Hopkins. Rashad Bateman's back healthy, so they should be better at receiver. Their defense is always going to be good. They have a really good pass rush. Secondary is very good. So the Ravens are destined to be really good this year, and they'll win this division. Cincinnati Bengals. This is a tough one. I'm picking them with my other wild card. I think it'll be a wild card team, but it's gonna be a really tough one. I'm really taking a chance on this one. Their defense is gonna be an issue, but you got to look at this offense. This offense is gonna be explosive. Of course, with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase is the best receiver in football right now. T. Higgins, you can make a case that he's the number one option as well as a wide receiver, but of course he has to be the number two to Jamar Chase, and he's still great. So don't get me wrong, they'll be great. Chase Brown's a good running back, and their offense is going to be great. Offensive line is not the best, but Joe Burrow finds a way to still get it done no matter how much protection he has. So the Bengals offense is going to be pretty good. Their defense, it's going to be a problem. They did bring Trey Henderson back. He did sign a new contract, so he's getting paid, and he'll be happy this year to be playing for them, and they'll pay him. So he should be motivated to play well and play good. But yeah, it's going to be hard for them to get stops. But I think Joe Burrow's on a mission this year, and I think this offense is going to be so good where they'll get enough wins and sneak into the playoffs and with one of those wild cards. The Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a really tough one. It sounds nice. They sound like a good team, but if you really look at it, I just don't believe in it. Aaron Rodgers, I just don't think he can get back to what he was or close to what he was. He's an older quarterback. If you watch him in training camp and in preseason, he looks very slow, and the Steelers' offensive line is not the greatest anyway. So are you really confident that he can stay healthy, first of all, behind the offensive line? And are you confident that he has enough time to throw the football, and he still has it? I just don't think he does. I think Aaron Rodgers' best days are behind them, and I think this is going to be a tough year for the Steelers. And their running back, Jalen Warren's pretty solid, but I don't really know if he's a great running back, but I think he's good enough, so I think the running game will be pretty good. The defense, on paper, it looks very, very good, but it's old. You know, Jalen Ramsey's they traded for him. He's an older corner. They got Darius Slay, older corner, and it's a very aged secondary. And also they have an older player and Cam Hayward in the defensive line. And can you really count on this defense to be healthy? Because it's an older defense now. Although if they are healthy, yeah, they're very good on paper. But I just don't know. It's pretty old, and you can't really rely on it for an 18-game regular season that the whole unit will be intact. So I'm picking the Steelers to miss the playoffs here. I really like Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. He always finds a way to get a winning record no matter what team he has, but I think this is going to be the year where he has a team under 500, and maybe his job will be on the line. I hope not, because he's a very good head coach, as I said, but there's a possibility that, yeah, if the Steelers don't come through this year, he'll be out of a job. So give me the Steelers missing the playoffs. And, of course, the Cleveland Browns. They're the Cleveland Browns. I don't got to take much time to explain them. You know, the Joe Flacco starting quarterback. They can't figure out who's going to be the guy going forward. Is it Shedeur Sanders? Is it Dylan Gabriel? Is it Joe Flacco? Which we know that's not the answer. And they're just a disaster of a franchise. So yeah, the Browns will finish fourth for sure. and yeah, it's gonna be tough for the Browns for a couple of years. We'll see maybe if they get a top pick and get a quarterback next year. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough year for Browns fans. Moving on to the AFC South, we got the Jaguars, Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, and the Tennessee Titans. Okay, this division is a little tricky because it's not the greatest division, but I got the Houston Texans winning it in first place. My second place team is a surprise team. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars finishing second in this division, and then the Indianapolis Colts in third, and the Tennessee Titans in fourth place. Starting with the Texans, I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I'm not going to say they're going to be elite, but they'll be pretty good. The defense is very, very good. I picked them at fantasy football. They're really good in the defensive line with all those guys they have there. Derek Stingley is a really good corner in the secondary, and that secondary is very good. They can fly all over the place, and they're very good on defense. Although they have issues in the offense with Joe Mixon He's going to miss a couple games to start the season, and Nick Chubb's going to take over. So we'll see if Nick Chubb still has some left, and he can provide them some production out of the backfield. C.J. Stroud, he regressed next year, so this is a big year for C.J. Stroud. He has to come through and show that he can be the guy going forward for this team. And the offensive line, it's not much better, or it might be worse, honestly, because they traded Larry Tunzel, one of their best offensive linemen, and it's going to be interesting to see if that offensive line can protect C.J. Stroud, because if not, it's going to be a replay of what happened last year where they couldn't protect C.J. Stroud, and he was on the run constantly, and he had by far his worst season, although he's only been in the league for 2 years, but he dropped off a lot from his magical rookie season. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can protect them. And the receivers, the receiving core, it's still pretty good on paper, but it's beat up. Nico Collins, when healthy, he's arguably a top 5 receiver in the league. And Tank Dell is going to be out for the season. And they have a lot of questions at receiver, but if Nico Collins can stay healthy and strive to get in the football, that should help out. So I think they're going to be able to hang on enough in games with this defense, and they'll score enough points. And I think, they're going to win this division. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I picked them in second. They're going to be a lot better. This is a big year for Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence really hasn't lived up to being the first overall pick when he came out of that draft out of Clemson. And he has more weapons now. He's got Brian Thomas Jr. He was very good last year. He's looking like he can be one of the best receivers in the league. They got Travis Hunter as the second receiver / cornerback, which is crazy, still crazy to say, but he's going to play both ways. So that'll be interesting to see this year. And that's a pretty crazy storyline to see if he can do it. But they got him. And I just like the overall culture of what they're building there. They're still not, they're not a playoff team to me. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they're starting to build something for the future, and that they're starting to show that they can be a good team going forward. And I think they're going to take a good step this year, and we'll see. Maybe they'll be a playoff team in a couple of years, but this is a good start for them. So I got them second, and I got the Colts in third. And this is a tough one because I was really deciding on making them the fourth place team, but I just don't think the Titans are ready yet. And the Colts, they're not a good team. They're going to be third, but it's going to be a distant third. Their quarterback situation is a mess, and with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. They picked Daniel Jones to be the starting quarterback, but are you really confident that he's going to win them much more games other than Anthony Richardson? Although Richardson really hasn't shown that he could be that guy either. So their quarterback situation there is a mess, and I'm not confident they can score enough points. The defense is pretty good, and Jonathan Taylor is a good running back, and they have a good offensive line. But, I just don't think they can score enough points, and it's going to be a tough season for the Colts. And the Tennessee Titans, I got them in fourth place, but they're going to make strides later in the season. I think they're going to get off to a tough start. Cam Ward is going to get his feet wet a little bit. He's going to struggle a little bit early in the season. But I think later in the season, the more he gets experience and the more he's more comfortable under center in an NFL offense, I think Cam Ward is going to be something special. And the Titans are going to be excited this year to see him progress and possibly compete in this division in the future. So I got them in fourth, but they'll start to kick it up later in the season. So that's the AFC South. And then last but not least in the AFC, let's move on to the AFC West, where we got the Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Raiders. And with this one, I wanted to bump them off, but I just can't. I can't do it. I gotta see it to believe it. I got the Chiefs winning this division. I think this is gonna be a bit of a transition year for them. They're not as powerful on paper as they've been the last couple of years, but it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Andy Reid. They're going to find ways to win games, so I got to give them to them. So they'll be the first-place team. They're really good on defense. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, and he finds ways to win games, so I got to give it to them. Travis Kelce's getting older, but so he got engaged, and maybe that'll help him and motivate him going forward. We'll see, but he's dropped off a lot, so he has a lot to prove himself, and we'll see if he can be a good tight end again and be a productive tight end and help Patrick Mahomes in this offense. And Rashid Rice is suspended for the first 6 games. Yeah, 6 games. And if he comes back, then this offense will be a lot better. And Xavier Worthy should be a lot more experienced as a receiver himself. So if this all works out and everybody's healthy and the receivers do their job, I think they'll be a lot better of an offense. But there's a lot of questions. But I'm still giving the Chiefs the nod in first place in this division. The Denver Broncos, I got them in second place. I got them as my wildcard team as well. They'll be a wildcard team. I really like this team. Bo Nix is coming into his own as a quarterback. Sean Payton really trusts him, and they have a good chemistry as a coach and quarterback combo. I love this defense. This is probably the best defense in football with Patrick Surtain in the back end and that secondary. They're really good on the defensive line, and overall as a defense, this defense is going to be very, very good. So I like that. Their receiving core is not the greatest. Cortland Sutton's pretty good, but overall they don't really have names that flash like crazy. But I think they have enough of an offensive punch where they'll be able to score enough points. The running back they got is pretty good too. I forgot his name, but they drafted him this year, and he should be pretty good. That offensive line is very good. So overall, I think they're going to be a gritty team, and they're going to score enough points, and they're going to get stops on defense because this defense is nasty. So I like the Broncos in second, and don't make the playoffs as a wild card. And then I got the LA Chargers. I think they'll just miss out on the playoffs. I think they're going to really compete this year, and I got them in third place. And I want to give them one of the wild cards, but I just don't know. Like their receiving core is not great if you really look at it. It's Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnson and an older Keenan Allen. Can those guys really do it again this year after surprising everybody last year? I just don't think they can. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. I like him a lot. I think he could be better than he was last year, but I just don't know if you can trust his pass catchers enough. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do. And their offensive line is already beat up as well. And Jim Harbaugh is going to run the football. And with the beat up offensive line, can he get the hole? Can the running back get the holes and produce enough and get enough yardage? I just don't know if they can with that offensive line being hurt. The defense, it's good. It was really good last year, but can they repeat? It's tough for a defense to repeat on back-to-back years and put up the same production. So I think they'll take a bit of a step back, and I think the Chargers will miss the playoffs. Barely. They'll compete, but they will miss the playoffs and be third in this division. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders in fourth place. And I wanted to give the Raiders more credit, but I think they're really going to compete this year. They'll be a lot better, but I got them in fourth. This division is just too good. And Geno Smith is a good quarterback. I like him a lot. He's a really accurate passer. They drafted Ashton Genty with their first pick this year. The running back, he's going to be something special. He already looks like a Marshawn Lynch kind of player, tough, gritty player. He can run between the tackles, and he's going to be very, very good. The receiving core is pretty solid with Jacoby Myers. And they got Brock Bowers at tight end. He might be the best tight end in football already after his great rookie season. So they're gonna be pretty solid on offense. That defense, they have Max Crosby, one of the best pass rushers in the league. But overall, they're pretty young, so we don't really know if they're gonna be that good of a defense. They might be maybe middle of the pack or bad. It depends. But Max Crosby is gonna get his sacks and give production. So we'll see if they can get stops, but I just don't know if they can. This division is just too good, and I got them in fourth place. And let's move on to the NFC, beginning with the NFC East, where we got the Washington Commanders, the reigning Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles, the Cowboys, and the New York Giants. And in this division, I got the Eagles in first place and win this division again. I know there's been that curse in the NFC East for years where there has been a back-to-back division winner in 20-something years, and it's wild. But the Eagles are just too good. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He's a little underrated. People try to hate on him that he's not good. He's not a good quarterback. But hey, in this system and on this team, he's what they want, and he fits. So I gotta give him his respect. So I like Jalen Hurts there as a quarterback. Saquon Barkley had an outstanding season last year. He was offensive player of the year. And he's only gonna keep doing his thing. Although you can argue he had a pretty heavy workload and was body break down to him. We'll see. And the offensive line is a little beat up, but I still got to give the Eagles' offensive line respect here. They'll figure it out. And Saquon Barkley is good enough as a talent to keep producing. So expecting him to be pretty good, but there's questions. So be aware. And the receiving core, it's great. A.J. Brown is a very good receiver. Devontae Smith is arguably a number 1 receiver, but he's number 2 on this team. They're very good at receiver. And then they got really good players on defense. They lost some guys, but they're young. Quinyon Mitchell's a very good corner. Cooper DeJean is a very good corner. That pass rush with Jalen Carter is very scary, and the defense should be able to do enough, and they're gonna be very, very good. So the Eagles will win this division again and break the curse. We'll see, hopefully. Second place, I got the Washington Commanders, and I got them making the playoffs as a wild card. Jaden Daniels, I believe in him. I know there's always been the monocle that there's the second-year drop-off, but I just think Jaden Daniels is just too advanced of a quarterback, too gifted of a quarterback, the way he can escape. And I think he's going to keep getting better and keep playing up to his potential. And he's going to get the Commanders to the playoffs. I like him a lot. They re-signed Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin signed the extension after his long holdout, and they figured it out. So now he's happy, and he's motivated to play for this team. And him and Jaden Daniels have a great connection, so I love that. The running game should be a lot better with the offensive line being a lot better. They added Laramie Tunzel. They added Deebo Samuel, our receiver / running back, so they can be more of a hybrid offense with Jaden Daniels, Austin Eckler, and Deebo. So they'll be pretty good in the backfield there. And of course, Jaden Daniels can throw the football. So the offense should be very, very good. The defense, it's going to be interesting because they were one of the worst run defenses, but there's a chance they could get a little better there. But their pass defense is going to be a lot better because they got a full season out of Marshawn Lattimore, who they got from the Saints last year, and they're very young there, and they're going to get better in the secondary. So I think the Commanders are going to be a really good team this year. And then in third, this was a tough one. I put the Cowboys there, but I'm not confident in the Cowboys because they just made the huge move and traded Micah Parsons, and this defense might be the worst defense in football. There's a possibility because they got nobody in the pass rush there in Dallas, and the secondary should be a little better. They got Trayvon Diggs back fully healthy, so there's that. But can they get enough pressure on the quarterback? I just don't think they can. So they're gonna really struggle on defense. They're gonna score points though. Dak Prescott is gonna find his receivers. He's got one of the best receivers in the league, and CeeDee Lamb. They got George Pickens in the trade, so their receiving core is gonna be pretty good, and they're gonna find ways to score points. But I just don't know if they can stop people, and that's gonna be tough. So I got the Cowboys in third, and then fourth, but ascending, the New York Football Giants. The Giants are gonna have something to look forward to this year. Russell Wilson is a pretty good quarterback, but we don't really know how long he's gonna play for this season until he gets benched, because Jackson Dart was by far the best performer in the preseason, and he looks like he's gonna be something special if they develop him correctly. And maybe he might play like mid-season or later in the season, just depending on how good Russell Wilson is. But this team overall is pretty good, if you except for the quarterback, if they figure it out, because this defensive line might be the best defensive line in football. Abdul Carter, the rookie they got this year, is going to be special. He really looks like a wrecking ball in the middle for them, and they have a lot of weapons there in the defensive line, a lot of dogs, and their offense, if you look at it, it's pretty good in the receiving core, because Malik Neighbors is something special, man. This kid can play. He's going to be really, really good in this league, and if they can have a quarterback to get him the football consistently, he's going to cause a lot of damage. So I like that. They got Tyrone Tracy in the backfield. This kid really showed something last year, and he looks like he can be a good running back in this league. And overall, yeah, if they get the quarterback that can give him production, this team should be pretty good in the future. So if you're a Giants fan, look up to this season being a stepping point to being something great in the future. As we move on to the NFC North, where we got the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Chicago Bears. And I really thought hard about this, because after the Michael Parsons trade, I want to put the Packers in first place, but Jordan Love has to show me something first. So I'm gonna give the Lions first place in this division. Jared Goff is a really good quarterback. He's consistent. There is issues though with the coaching staff because they lost Ben Johnson to the Bears. They lost Aaron Glenn to the Jets. So they have new coordinators this year. So we'll see if this coaching staff can pick it up and be productive or as productive as last year. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they can do there. But yeah, Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Although he really struggled in that playoff game last year against the Commanders, but in the regular season he was great. He put up great numbers. He had by far his best season, singularly, and they were winning too. So I think they're gonna be good there at quarterback with him. They have a great running back duo in the backfield with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and that offensive line is very good. Although they did lose Frank Ragnow to retirement. So they got to figure out who's going to be the guy going forward at center. But overall, as an offensive line, it's still one of the best in football. So this running game is going to be pretty good, and they can protect Jared Goff pretty good in the offensive line. The defense should be a lot better. They're going to be healthier because last year they were by far the most beat-up defense in football. The fact that they won 15 games last year with that defense was a minor miracle, honestly. And you got to give a lot of credit to Aaron Glenn. So yeah, they'll be a lot better defensively. They get Aiden Hutchinson back in the pass rush, and he was by far the best defensive player last year before he got hurt. And he was looking like he was gonna win the defensive player of the year, but he got hurt on Thanksgiving, and that ruined his chances of winning that. But he's gonna be back, and from what I heard so far, he looks like he's back to being his natural self, and he's gonna be good to go for the season and be productive. So I like that. So I think the Lions will just squeak in to win this division, but it's going to be very competitive because the second place team, the Green Bay Packers, I got them in second, and I got them making the playoffs of the wild card as well because this team, it's very, very good because the Michael Parsons trade to them was a huge one, and I was totally shocked that this happened because I thought Jerry Jones was going to cave and pay him at the end, but he said, "Nah, we're trading you, man. Like we've had enough of you." And now the Packers have him, and man, that young Packers defense is gonna be legit. They got but Michael, of course. They got Rashawn Gary on the other side of the defensive line, and that defensive line is gonna be pretty good. And they have a really good safety in Xavier McKinney. They have some issues at corner, but if you can get constant pass rush and rush the quarterback and force him to throw off his back foot. It doesn't matter if your secondary is that great. So they're gonna be really good in the defensive line, and this defense is gonna be pretty legit. The offense, it's something to question, but this is it for Jordan Love. Jordan Love has to come through and deliver for this team because he has no excuses here. He has possibly a Super Bowl caliber team if you really look at it on paper. The receivers are very young. They have two really good tight ends. So Jordan Love has to get it done, and he has no excuses. They paid him a lot of money after that 8-game stretch, and he won that playoff game in Dallas. But he kind of regressed last year early in the season, but he picked it up later on and figured it out. So you have to give him that. But the dude has to show up and produce up to that contract. And they have a good running back in Josh Jacobs in the backfield. He had his one of his best years of his career last year. And this team, I really like it. So I think they're going to be a really good team in the NFC and compete this year. So I got them in second, and then I got the Minnesota Vikings in third place. And I really thought hard about this one. I wanted to make them a playoff team, but I'm just not sold on the quarterback. JJ McCarthy has to show me because we really don't know much about him because last year he was hurt and Sam Darnold took over, where it was looking like he was going to be the guy going forward for the future last year. But yeah, he was hurt. And Sam Darnold had a great year, so people are thinking, oh, yeah, well, if Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, can do wonders with Sam Darnold, he could do the same thing with J.J. McCarthy. But it's easier said than done because, yeah, this kid is not that experienced. He won the national championship with Michigan, but he really wasn't a big contributor in terms of throwing the football. They were a very run-heavy offense, and he was more of a game manager. So can he do that in the NFL? He might be able to because if you look at the overall roster on this offense, it's great because they got Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in football. Jordan Addison, although he's going to miss a couple games to start the season. He's a really good second option at receiver. Aaron Jones is a good running back, and they got T.J. Hawkinson at tight end, one of the best tight ends in the league. So on paper, it looks good, but J.J. McCarthy has to show that he can play and do his job. So, and I'm just not sold that he can do it that good in his first year. So I got them just missing the playoffs. This defense is very, very good. I love their DC and Brian Flores. He does a great job of putting up defensive schemes, and they have a lot of players in that defense that can really go. But I just don't know if they can be as good as last year. Last year they were the best turnover team in football on that defense, and it's really hard to bring it into the next season. So I think they'll be a little worse or maybe better. We don't really know. It's hard to say. But the chances of you being the best turnover team in football 2 years in a row is very slim. So yeah, I got them being in third place. And then in fourth, but getting better and ascending, the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears are going to be a little better last year or this year. Last year they were a big disappointment. Matt Eberflus was not a good head coach, and they didn't get the best out of Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams really struggled most of the season, although he had flashes of greatness. Like you can see the talents there, and that's why they got Ben Johnson this year to be the head coach and the offensive coordinator, to get Caleb Williams right and to show and to get the best out of him and teach him really how to play football under center, because in college he was more of a backyard kind of quarterback, go run and throw off your back foot and make plays like that, but in the NFL, you can't be doing that all the time. You got to be more under center and understand an offense and read defenses and deliver that way. And I think Ben Johnson's going to try to make him do that and get the best out of him doing that. So I think Caleb will be a little better. The receiving core is pretty good with DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. And they drafted Colson Loveland at tight end this year. He's going to be pretty good. They got Cole Kmet at tight end as well. The running back, Swift, is pretty good. So they'll be pretty good on offense, but I just don't know if this defense is going to be that good as well, because I thought they were going to be really good last year, but they weren't as consistent. And Jalen Johnson, their best cornerback, is hurt to start the season. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit in the secondary. So yeah, I think the Bears will be a little better, but I just don't know if they're ready to take the leap and really compete in this division. But they'll fight, and there's optimism for Caleb Williams and his development for the future. So, Bears fans, one more year, man. Just one more year. Eat it. You'll be last in the division, but you're building something special. So, be excited if you're a Bears fan. Moving on to the NFC South, where we got the Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers, and the Saints. And I got the Buccaneers in first place, win this division. I really like their team. Baker Mayfield, man, gotta give him a lot of credit. The dude has rejuvenated his career and has really found out how to play in that offense. So I like that. Mike Evans is one of the most consistent receivers in the league. He always puts up 1,000 yards no matter who the quarterback is. And now he has a bona fide quarterback in Baker Mayfield, so that's pretty good. They got Chris Godwin coming back, and he looks like he's back to his old self. It might take him a couple of weeks to get his feet under him, but be confident that he's gonna be pretty good and be back to his old self. They got Emeka Ibuka, the young receiver they drafted this year, and a lot of people are saying that he's gonna be special and he can be a really good player in this league. So that's another weapon for Baker Mayfield. And that running back duo with Rashad White and Bucky Irving is one of the best in the league, probably the best in the division, and it's gonna be very good. Offensive line's very good, and that defense is that pass rush is pretty solid. And Todd Bowles is a very good defensive mind. And yeah, I really like the Buccaneers, and I think they're gonna win the division again. Although my second place team in this division is gonna really challenge them, and I got to make in the playoffs with the wild card, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are going to be pretty good this year. I really believe in Michael Penix Jr. I think he's going to be a special quarterback in this league. He's going to be a big upgrade over Kirk Cousins and get the best out of his offense here, because I really like Drake London. He's a very good receiver, and I think him and Penix are going to have a good chemistry and get the best out of each other. And Bijan Robinson is the best running back by far in this division, and one of the best running backs in football. And the dude is an absolute stud because when he gets out in space, he is a wrecking ball, and he's gonna be a very special player in this offense this year and going forward, of course. So I like that, and they got some other good players on that offense, but the issue for the Falcons is that defense, because that defense is one of the worst in the league, and they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, but can they get enough stops when they have to? I think they can, but it's hard to say because, yeah, they're kind of thin in that defense when it comes to great players. So, but I think the offense is going to be just good enough and be pretty good, and it'll help them win games. So I got them in second. In third place, I got the Carolina Panthers. I don't think they're going to be that good this year. A lot of people are saying they'll win about 6 games, 7 games. I don't think so. They still have a lot to get better at, and they still need to rebuild that team and make a better culture there and a better overall talent base. And yeah, I don't think they're ready yet. So I got them in third. And the Saints are the bottom feeder in this division. They're going to be fourth, and they got to figure out who they are because they took forever to name a quarterback this year to start the season, and it's going to be Spencer Rattler. And is he the guy? I don't think he is. So we'll see if they'll do the March for Arch and get him Arch Man next year. So yeah, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. So I got the Saints in fourth. And the final division, we got the NFC West with the Seattle Seahawks, the LA Rams, the 49ers, and the Cardinals. And this one's an interesting one because I really want to give the Seahawks the nod here, but I don't think they're ready yet. So I'll give the Rams first place, although Matthew Stafford is having some issues with his back, and supposedly he's going to play this week. They're saying that he's very likely going to play. But there's issues there, and man, he's an older quarterback. He's 37 years old, and if you have a back injury in the NFL, that really affects a lot, man. And especially being a quarterback, we got told the football, that affects a lot. And yeah, that scares me a bit because before I heard about this, I was considering them to be my Super Bowl pick in the NFC, but after hearing all this stuff about Stafford, that really turned me off, and I couldn't do it. So, but I think they'll be good enough still and win this division. And I like the overall core of this team. I love the acquisition of Devontae Adams. I think him being next to Puka Nacua is going to be a really good. I like Kyron Williams in the backfield. And if Stafford's healthy, there'll be a great offense. But there's questions there. And this young defense is going to be very good. Jerry Verse is a stud. And I love the overall development of this defense. And they'll be pretty good. So I got the Rams winning this division. And second, and I just had them miss in the playoffs because I thought about giving them one of the wild cards. The Seattle Seahawks, the Seahawks here. I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. And Sam Darnold's going to be a lot better of a quarterback than people think because they have some weapons there. Jackson Smith and Jigba is very good. And I like Kenneth Walker in the backfield. And I think Sam Darnold will do just enough and score enough points for this offense to really go. Because this defense might be one of the best defenses in the league because Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator and head coach, is one of the best defensive minds in the league, and he'll get the best out of this defense because they have a lot of good players with Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, and Reek Woolen, and they have some dogs there in the secondary, and yeah, they're gonna be very, very good on that defense, and they're very young there, and yeah, I think they'll do just enough to win games, but they'll just miss out on the playoffs. Just miss out. But they'll be a competitor all season. The 49ers, I think they're going to regress this year. A lot of people are picking them to win this division, but I don't think so because they have so many problems at receiver. Ricky Pearsall right now is the number 1 receiver as we speak. Brandon Ayuk is not going to come back until about week 6, week 5, around there. So there's issues there. Christian McCaffrey, can you trust him to stay healthy? I can't. I unfortunately I drafted him last year in fantasy football, and that cost me a lot. So I'm not doing it again, and I don't trust him. So that's I can't trust him anymore. And yeah, and he's 30 now, and yeah, the odds of him staying healthy all year are pretty low. So I don't think he's going to stay healthy. The defense is not as good as it's been the last couple of years. They're younger there, and they lost a lot of players. Although they got Robert Saleh back, and he was one of their best defensive coordinators when they were making the run to the Super Bowl. But, yeah, I don't think they'll be as good. So, yeah, I got the 49ers in third. And then fourth, I got the Arizona Cardinals. They have a lot of questions with Kyler Murray. Is Kyler Murray the guy going forward for them? Because yeah, he's been there for a couple of years, and they've only made the playoffs one time with him, and there's been some rumblings that he's not really a good teammate there, and there's issues there. So we'll see if Kyler Murray is the guy going forward. Because Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver they have there, is an absolute stud. And if they can have a quarterback and get him the football, they're going to make a lot of noise on that offense. But there's just issues with the offensive line. The defense is not that good. And, yeah, I got the Cardinals in fourth. But they could surprise some people, but the odds of that are very low, and I don't think they're gonna do that much. They might fight the 49ers for third place, maybe. But in that division, it's going to be tough. That division is pretty good. So give me them in fourth. And moving on to the MVP of the season. This is a tough one here because I really thought of between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, the two top guys from last year. But I'm going to give it to Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a great year this year and be the MVP. He's going to have a lot of numbers because they're going to be throwing the football a lot in Cincinnati because, as I brought up, that defense is not good. So he's going to throw that football a lot and put up a lot of numbers. And he's got the receivers to get the football to, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And he led the league in touchdowns last year. And you could have argued that he could have won the MVP last year, but the team just wasn't good. So that and winning does go into some of this. And yeah, the Bengals just didn't win enough, and it was a big part of him not winning the MVP last year. But I think they will win enough this year, and I think he will win the MVP, and he'll put up big numbers in that offense and have a great year for the Bengals. And last but not least, my Super Bowl pick. And I really thought hard about this one because there's a couple of teams out there that really were annoying me to pick them to come out of their conference. But in the end, I picked the Ravens out of the AFC and the Packers out of the NFC. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on the Packers, man. Like they got me because before the Michael Parsons trade, I was thinking about the Rams, but after this is a big move, and I think the Packers are going to figure out later in the season. They'll start off a little slow with Jordan Love, trying to keep those new receivers and stuff like that, and Michael Parsons getting into the fold on that defense. But I think later in the season, they're going to make a run and be the best team out of the NFC and get to the Super Bowl. And the Ravens, it's their time. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in football, arguably, and it's his time. He has to get it done this year because if not, are the Ravens ever going to win the Super Bowl? It's tough to say because if they can't beat the Chiefs or anybody else to get to the Super Bowl this year, it's going to be a lot of questions in Baltimore. So I think they will get it done this year, and they're going to get to the Super Bowl, and the Ravens will beat the Packers in the Super Bowl, and the Ravens will be the Super Bowl champion this year in football. And it's going to be a great season, and I hope you guys follow along all season with me on this podcast and also on Roundtable Sports. I'll be covering the Saints the whole year for them, and it's going to be a fun football season, guys, and I'm really excited. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my predictions, and I will see you guys next week.
This the West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West.